The NFL draft is fast approaching, and I'm doing a series on where I go over the top prospects in this upcoming draft. Now, I've already completed defense, and I've done 5 videos on defensive positions. But I need to move on to offense, so we're going to start with that in this video. And in today's video, as you saw in the title, I'm going interior offensive line. This is a really strong position group and is one of the best position groups in this class. And if you add some tackles in, it's an even stronger position group. There are a lot of excellent prospects to talk about, and we'll get into that. Now, the reason why I combine guards and centers is because there's not a lot at either position, and frankly, the board falls off pretty quickly in those positions. But I still wanted to talk about both of them, and there are still some great players to talk about. Center is the weaker position, but there are still some solid guys that we're going to get into. But here's my grading scale. Now, since this is such a strong class, there will be a lot of high grades. But let's go ahead and get into that. Now, my number one interior offensive lineman, I'm not going to say that every time, is Olavavega Ion from Penn State. That was a very hard name to pronounce. But he is easily the best guard in my opinion. Now, where you rank him will depend on what you want on your team. Ion is an excellent pass blocker. It's by far his best attribute. He is absolutely elite at that. In 2025, he gave up 0 sacks, 0 QB hits, and only 4 QB hurries. That is some elite production, and just from that, he is a plug-and-play guard on any team. He is built extremely well at 6'4", 330, and he is very strong. He generates some incredible power at the line, and when it comes to his anchor, elite. You are not moving him with power. The only way to get by him is through speed, and that's one of his main issues. He's not super athletic. I mean, he's no slouch of an athlete, but his foot speed is not all that great. It's quite average, and his lateral quickness is also pretty average. That does leave him vulnerable to speed rushers going up the middle, because he's not able to react quickly enough to them. And when it comes to moving in the run game, he's not that great either. He can get to the second level, but he can be rather slow, so quicker linebackers are able to get by him or get around him. And like I said, he's got great power. So if he's able to latch on to a defender, the defender loses the rep. You are not getting by him through power. And that's why I like him so much. He is a rock-solid guard with some limitations in the run game, but in the right scheme, he can be an absolute elite player. But he is dependent on the scheme, so that's why I put him at plus starter, though rated pretty highly. And my number 2 guard in this class is Emmanuel Pregnon from Oregon. Now, this guy can do pretty much everything very well. He is a very good pass blocker, and he's a very good run blocker. And there's very good reason for that. Let's talk about his pass blocking. His pass blocking is excellent. He's got excellent grip strength. He will anchor down extremely well, and you are just not getting through him. And in the run game, he is a mover. He can move very well. He is also extremely explosive, and his broad jump and vertical showed that. I mean, he will beat dudes to the spot and basically wall them off. And not only does he wall them off, he throws them on the ground. There were multiple times where I saw him laying dudes out on film. This guy gets me excited when I watch his film. Now, of course, he's not the perfect guard. He's a touch lighter than I'd want, but 314, that's not super light, so it's going to be a non-issue, but it's the reason why I like Ion a little bit better. But his movement skills are excellent. However, his 40 time isn't great. It's okay, to be honest, but I personally think it's a non-factor. He moved rather well, and he plays faster than that time, so it's pretty much a non-factor. The real issue is his hip stiffness. It affects his lateral quickness, and quicker, twitchier defensive tackles or edges can get by him, which definitely is an issue, and part of the reason why I rate him a little bit lower, but still, I think both Ion and Pregnon are both very good guards, just built for different schemes. Ion is a pass blocking guard first, can improve his run blocking, but it is ultimately capped. Meanwhile, Pregnon is a little bit of everything, but is ultimately limited to guard. But honestly, it really depends what kind of team you're trying to run. I like them both. I just have them in this order. My number 3 guard in this class is Chase Bisontis from Texas A&M. If you want a mover at guard, he's your guy. He's probably one of the most athletic guards in this class. He can move extremely well and without any limitations. He's got good height, decent size, and like I said, moves extremely well. And not only that, he has a very strong anchor. He's got great power. I mean, he has all the physical tools you can want in a guard. And he's got some good production too. He is a very good pass blocker and a very good run blocker. However, the reason why I don't have him any higher is mostly he is a little bit raw. His technique overall is a work in progress. His hands are a little bit late. He's got a lot of penalties over his career. His pad level is pretty inconsistent. It can allow him to get high and lose any leverage he has. And also he's got rather short arms, so movement to tackle is pretty unlikely, though he does have experience at tackle, so in a pinch you could move him there, but personally I wouldn't suggest it. His length can be an issue at times with longer arm defensive linemen, as they can get to his chest a lot quicker and shove him back a little bit. Though, like I said, good anchor, he can recover quite well. And if you have a scheme where you like your guards to move around a lot, he's your guy. Just need to develop him a little bit more. My number 4 guard in this class is Jennings Dunker from Iowa. This guy has elite power. I mean, freakish power for his size. That is the defining part of his game. And if you are a run-first team, you will love him. He can generate excellent movement off the line and will destroy any defender in his way. And as a pass blocker, he's rather effective. He's got a strong grip strength, his footwork is rather good, and he's got a great anchor too. Now, it's not as great as some of the other guards I've mentioned so far, but it's definitely strong enough to handle bull rushes very well. And while he played tackle in college, guard is a better fit for him, but that does open up some positional versatility, as you can move him to tackle for any reason. If you have an injury at tackle, you can comfortably move Dunker over there and not have any significant drop-off, as he's played that position before. Now, the real issues are his movement skills. While he did test rather well at the combine, outside of the 40-yard dash, which was only okay, he does not really show it all that great. His movement can look kind of labored on film, which means he does need to clean that up, and his hips are rather stiff, which prevents really good lateral movement. If any edge gets around him, it's hard for him to really catch up. He also can get caught leaning, which allows savvy defensive linemen to get around him if he leans too far and is over aggressive. There were a good amount of times I saw on tape where he ended up on the ground. So that is also something to clean up there. And while he does have the tools to have an explosive first step, as he had a very good broad jump and vertical, it didn't show up on film, which really is a timing issue, but that can get cleaned up and really does raise his floor, as he does have the physical tools to be a very solid guard. However, there are still a few things to clean up, but I still think he can be an excellent guard in the league and a solid tackle if he needs to be. My number 5 guard in this class is Keelan Rutledge from Georgia Tech. He is also a very athletic guard. He had one of the faster 40s in this class for guards and one of the fastest shuttles of any guard. That shows he has excellent movement skills, or at least the ability to do so. And his power is also very good. He will generate consistent movement on the line, will absolutely bury defenders when he gets the chance, and he's got a very good anchor as well, which makes him a reliable pass blocker, and he's got a very good upside in the running game. Plus, he also played center and also has experience at tackle, which makes him extremely versatile on the line, and you can put him wherever you need on your own offensive line. He is also extremely durable. He's never missed a start, so that is very good for his long-term career. And funny enough, when he was at the Senior Bowl, coaches had to tell him to pull it back a little bit, not pull it forward. And that's a great sign for a guard. Any team who drafts him will absolutely love him for that. Now, he is overall still pretty raw, which is why I have him number 5 overall. His pad level will rise, especially on rush reps. His pass sets can get flat, which allows edges to get around him, and his footwork is iffy. So that is a serious problem, which can allow his anchor to get compromised, and his footwork can get rather choppy. Also, his body control in space is an issue, and he ended up on the ground a lot more often than I really wanted him to. He, of course, has the athletic tools to be rather good in space, but his body control, it's a little bit iffy, and that's something we need to clean up. And that's what really holds him back from being a must-get guard, but I still think the physical tools are there, the competitive temperament is there, and he can be an absolutely reliable guard, and even a guard that fans love. And my 6th player on this list is finally a center, and that is Sam Hite from Kansas State. This guy is a very solid center. Now, athletically, he's not the most gifted, and his hips are rather stiff, which limits his upside, and he's rather light for the position, but overall, I think he is a very good center. His pass blocking efficiency is excellent. One of the best in the class. He's got a very well-balanced build, which allows him to have a very good anchor, and he is rarely walked back. And he's got good overall technique. He is a reliable guy in the middle of the field, and he's extremely smart as well, as he's rarely fooled by twists, stunts, or any sort of rush games up the middle. He will always find a way to defend his quarterback. Now, his run blocking isn't as good as his pass blocking. It has improved over the years, so it shows good growth and that he's capable of doing more. But I would say his upside is rather limited since he doesn't move all that great in space. But the reason why I have him so much higher than pretty much every other center in this class, his Senior Bowl performance was excellent. He was consistently the best center there. He was routinely winning against larger defensive tackles, which you would expect to walk him back, but that just didn't really happen. And that shows even though he's slightly undersized, he is a rock solid guy in the middle of the field, and he would be a guy that anybody would want in the center of their offensive line. My number 7 guy on this list is another center, and that is Connor Lew from Auburn. Now this guy can move. He's got great athletic testing. He's got great speed, great lateral mobility, and his tape is best when he's pass blocking. He is excellent at that. And his movement skills give him some very good upside in a lot of different schemes. Plus, he's got fairly good technique when pass blocking. He wins the leverage battle more often than not. And when he's allowed to move around in space, he wants to put defenders on their back. And that has some very real value and is extremely exciting to watch. And he's got a lot of center experience, which makes him a reliable guy in the middle of the field because he's comfortable making those calls. However, there are some real downsides. Number 1, his ACL injury does limit his timeline on when he can start. He will likely not be starting his first year as he will still be recovering from that injury. And also, his run blocking tape was not as good in 2025 as it was in 2024. But the offensive line around him regressed significantly, so it's hard to say how much of that was on him versus just the rest of the line, and he couldn't really do all that much. Plus, he doesn't really win against defensive tackles that are significantly larger than him. That is something to take into account. However, I still think his pass blocking ability still makes him a reliable center in the middle of the field, and his movement skills give him some genuine upside. It's just whichever team drafts him has to be fairly patient with him. And my number 8 player on this list is yet another center, and that is Jake Slaughter from Florida. This guy can move very well. His pass blocking tape is very solid. He's got a solid anchor and great technique when pass protecting. He processes extremely well. He's a very smart football player, and he generates some actual push in the run game despite him being a little bit lighter than I'd really want. And what makes him fun to watch, he loves to finish off blocks with some serious violence. And when he's asked to pull block, he does it very well. He moves quite well in space. and that shows with his athletic testing. And he's got plenty of experience. He's got 2 full seasons starting at center for Florida, and he's handled all the line calls extremely well, and that shows he can be a very reliable guy in the middle of the field. However, the reason why I don't like him as much compared to the other offensive linemen, his anchor is not nearly as reliable as many of the other guys. While it's not a serious issue, it's just not nearly as good, which does make me worry about his upside a little bit. Plus, he leans forward a lot, so any savvy defensive tackle will be able to use a swim move very well against him. And that is a serious concern of mine. And he can get plenty over aggressive at times rather than leaning back on his technique, which shows he needs some overall growth. Of course, every rookie needs that, but that's just one thing to take note of. Plus, he's overall pretty light, like I mentioned, for a center, and he's far from the lightest center in this class, but that's something to take note of and will depend on how you would like to use him. But overall, I think he can be a very solid guy in the middle of the field, and with those movement skills, he's got some serious upside. And my number 9 lineman in this list is Logan Jones from Iowa. If you want an athletic center, this is your guy. He was literally the most athletic center in this class. And it does show up pretty well on tape. He's got excellent movement skills, plus he is a refined technician in pass blocking. He almost never allows any rusher a clean shot at the quarterback. He will always contest and usually does a very good job at it. And when he needs to reach to the second level, you know for sure he can do it with his movement ability. However, the main reason why he's fairly low on my list, his size. He is actually legitimately undersized for center. He is not all that tall. He's below 300 pounds. And his arm length is rather short. And that does also limit his anchor upside, which is not ideal, and there were a number of times where I saw him getting walked back into the quarterback. Now, the defensive lineman almost never was able to get a hand on the quarterback. However, collapsing the pocket consistently, that can be an issue. And his run blocking is functional. He's got good technique, but he doesn't really generate any movement. So inside zones are unlikely to work with him as your center, unless you got excellent guards beside him. And age is a serious factor, as he is going to be 25 in his rookie season. That limits his career length, and that also limits his upside, because pretty much I think this is really as good as he can get. Now, right now, he's still a very solid center, but I doubt he's going to get significantly better throughout his career. He might get slightly better, as most prospects do, but there is not much of a ceiling with him. But I do think you can get a very solid center depending on your scheme. And my number 10 lineman in this class is a guard this time, Billy Schrouth from Notre Dame. This guy is a very good pass blocker. He allowed 0 sacks and only 2 quarterback hurries in 2025, which is some excellent production. And despite his overall 40 being average at best, he's got great movement skills and he's rather fluid, so that does allow him to be rather scheme versatile. And his anchor is very strong. You almost never see him get shoved back to the quarterback, despite him being somewhat light. 310 is not super light. It's not even the lightest one in this class. I've already talked about lighter dudes. But his anchor is extremely good, mostly because he uses great technique to make it strong. And his hand usage is extremely refined as a pass protector. Plus, he was a captain at Notre Dame, and he's extremely smart, rarely fooled by any sort of rush games on the line. He's also got positional versatility. He can play both right guard and left guard, as well as a little bit of tackle if you need that to happen. However, the main reason why he's rather low, injury history, and it's a rather long injury history too. He's got a recent MCL strain late in 2025, so that's something that needs to be monitored, and he's already had injuries in 2024 as well. And his run blocking isn't ideal either. He doesn't really generate consistent push, so that really limits his upside as a run blocker. And his pad level creeps up at times, which neutralizes his leverage advantage. However, as a pass protecting guard, I think he can be a reliable guy, at worst a high-end backup like I have him rated. However, I do think he can be a starter. Anyways, what do you guys think of my list? Do you think there should have been any other interior offensive lineman I should have included? Let me know in the comment section below. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed today's video, please leave a like and sub. It's greatly appreciated and lets me know you guys enjoy these videos. Anyways, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.